Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chechokwe if you are new, and if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. So in this video guys, I'll be talking about moving to Australia part 2 for your master's program. Okay, here I'll be covering jobs, accommodation, the weather, education system, cost of living, road rules, driving, and all that good stuff. So like this video, subscribe to my channel, and keep on watching. Okay guys, so I did the part 1. If you've not seen the video, I'm going to leave the link here and also in the description box. You can go check out that one. That one I talked about the documents you need for applying for your master's and your visa and all that good stuff. So before coming to Australia, I'm sure you're wondering, are there jobs in Australia for students? Can I be able to get jobs as a student? Yes, you can get a job as a student. So the government requires that students work 20 hours a week during school session and unlimited hours when school is on break. I mean during school holidays, yeah. So you can work 20 hours a week in Australia as a student. Now I'm not going to say it's extremely easy to find a job in Australia, but it's not impossible. You just need to get 1 or 2 things checked before you can be able to start applying for a job. Number 1, when it comes to your CV, I'm sorry to say this, but your work experience in your country, it's kind of trash. Okay, you've done this and you've done that, you have 20 years of experience in doing this, you have 1 million of it means absolutely nothing if you don't have Australian experience. That's why I said it's a bit difficult for international students, because I just came here, I'm barely 2 months. What experience you want me to have? Give me a job to have an experience. Yeah, but they don't really care about that. So your CV, first of all, you have to tailor in such a way that it's going to say you worked in Australia for a couple of years. Okay, I'm just telling you, it's a secret. But you have to do what you have to do. Right now I have Australian work experience, but when I started applying for jobs, I had to tweak my CV. With my job from my experience is from Nigeria, yeah, I just had to remove the whole Nigerian address, just make it plain, so it's experience, but it's not in Australia, but it's still true, but it's not slightly false, tweak small things. Okay, then you have to put your friends, your friends here, you kind of put their names as reference, so that when they call them, they will speak on your behalf. Just talk with your friends. And then you need a couple of certificates depending on the industry you want to work with. Okay, so let's say you're working with there's the hospitality industry. You need RSA, and that's responsible service of alcohol certificate. So if you want to work in bars and restaurants that serve alcohol, you're required to have this certificate. It's going to give you an edge to get a job, trust me. And then let's say you want to work in the construction industry, you need a white card and a traffic controller training. Okay, and the most popular job here for Nigerians, most of them, most people that I know, okay, they work in the disability and aged care sector. Okay, so for that you need your police check, you need working with children's check, you need certificate 3 or certificate 4, you need CPR or first aid certificate. These things are not 1 month, 3 month thing. These are 1 day thing, okay, 1 week thing at most. It's not a long, except for certificate 4, because that's a little bit deeper. But for your police check, you just I did it online. Pay, you get a certificate. For working with children's check, one day went to the New South Wales office, got my working with children check. Then my first aid CPR was just 1 class. I think it was 5 hours or so. Just sit for the class, do your training, get your certificate. Yeah, and that's it. Let's say you're working in a warehouse like I'm doing right now, which is not so common for Nigerians here, but yeah. So I drive a forklift. So for you to work in a warehouse, you need to have your forklift license. Okay, I had to get this certificate. I got the police check, I got working with children check, I got certificate 4, and I got my CPR and first aid, and then I got my forklift license. Okay, so now if I decide to work in the aged care and disability, I got it covered. Okay, but right now I just prefer to work in the warehouse industry because it's kind of easier for me and it suits me at the moment. It's the perfect job for me at the moment. moment. Maybe later I'll switch, but for now it's good. Okay, and then another thing about jobs, okay, another reason why I was always rejected for jobs was about driving. Guys, if you are coming to Australia and you finish all your process, apply for your visa and everything, just go and learn how to drive. If you don't know how to drive, and make sure you have your driver's license. And it's a great thing here that you can be able to drive your foreign license in Australia, and then when you come here you can switch it to the Australian license. But not your there's this two licenses in Nigeria. There's the normal 5 years license, and then there's the international license. International license you can see easy here, but I think it's just for 1 year. Or your national driver's license, the 5 years old, you can use it for 5 years, and that's the one you can be able to switch to Australian license when you come to this place. So get your license ready, guys. Get your license ready. And if you're saving money for your school fees, I'm just going to advise you, honestly, save money for your car. If you get to Australia, just try and get yourself a car, because it's going to give you like double edge when it comes to applying for jobs. Because if you're going to work, for instance, in the aged care industry, you need a car. You need a car because sometimes you have to show them your insurance papers for your car. So you need a car. And in most places, like if you're doing like morning shift, they start like around 5, and you have to be there by 5. And most times the train starts working by 5, or like the buses, they start by 5 or so. But I mean, if you're going to start your job by 5, you have to leave your house before 5. Now imagine if you're not mobile, it's going to mess you up. I talked about driving for job, okay? So another thing you have to bear in mind is that I think most places like Nigeria, we drive on the left, yeah? But in Australia, you drive on the right. So just keep that in mind. Now, number 2, when it comes to like accommodation, I mean, you've done your visa, you're waiting to come to Australia, and you don't know where to stay. Like me, okay? I had no friends, I had no family. I came here solo, alone, okay? And when I tell you guys my experience, like when I came to Australia, the very first day, the day my flight landed in Australia, like I felt like crying, like oh my god. I mean, it's a good thing. I'm like, yay, I'm in Australia, but like, yay, I am 3,000 miles away from my family and friends. I have nobody. No single person in Australia, nobody. For your accommodation, I'm sure you're wondering where do you want to stay. You don't know anybody in Australia. Where am I going to stay? Yeah. So the school offers like school accommodation, but they're really expensive. Really expensive. The accommodations are like super amazing. Like my school, the accommodation was like so fine, but you have to pay. Okay, you have to pay, and it was just way too much for like a student trying to survive to pay. Unless like father is like one rich billionaire, But aside from that, the school accommodation is like really expensive. So I tried to get accommodation from, they have the websites like Flatshare, Gumtree, and all that. Even the school provided like a website where you can search for accommodation outside school that is also like within the school area. So you can get your accommodation near that place. But the problem with that is that when I was applying for accommodation that way, you kind of have to book for inspection. Does that make sense? Like I applied for accommodation. I saw houses that I liked, that were close to school, really affordable and all that. But then when I like send a message that I like this house, I want to pay for it, they want you to actually come and inspect the house. And I tell you, it's really advisable to not even pay like that though, because I'm like, why would you want to do that without even seeing the house? So most houses here, before you can pay for like a house, you have to come and inspect the house. I think that's done everywhere, yeah. So now that's a problem, because I mean, you're in Nigeria or you're in your country. How am I supposed to come and inspect the house when I'm not even there? Okay, so what I did, if you don't have anybody here, was I booked like an Airbnb for like 2 weeks online before I came to Australia. So I booked beforehand. Then when I came to Australia, the first day I came, I just drove straight to the address on the Airbnb, and that's why I stayed for like, it was supposed to be like a 2-week stay, but I stayed for like just 1 week before I found like a more permanent accommodation for myself. Okay, so yeah, and also bear in mind, for accommodation in Australia, the rents are calculated weekly. Okay, I mean, first time before I came here, I was like, what? It's kind of relieving to pay your house rent for like a year, and it's a year. It's off your mind. You're hustling for another 1 year of house rent, but here you pay your rent weekly. So me, I pay my rent every 2 weeks, but it's still calculated weekly. Okay, so let's talk about cost of living. Okay, now I'm going to talk about cost of living in Sydney. And there are people that have detailed videos of different places in Australia that have different cost of living. Now, Sydney is like a bit on the pricey side. Okay, if you're in Nigeria, just take Sydney as Lagos or Abuja. Yeah, it's really pricey. Like, things are like expensive, but it's not like that expensive though. Because one thing about living in Sydney though, in Australia, yeah, food is like really cheap. I don't mean going to restaurants. Going to restaurants is going to like take all your money, but buying food stuff is actually like really cheap, like really incredibly cheap. Like, because most things are from here, okay, so it makes the food like really affordable. Yeah, technically like the food itself is affordable. Now when it comes to like cost of living, let's say rent, that's like a different thing, but it's mostly for, let's say, the place you want to live in. Does that make sense? If you're going to live in the suburbs, for instance, the houses are a bit cheaper than someone living in the city. If you're going to live in like a house in the suburb where you share like an apartment, like you have your own room but you share the apartment with other people, the houses are going to be like a bit cheaper than if you get a home place. Yeah, does that make sense? You guys get the picture now. So if you want to live in a skyscraper, you know the prices are going to be high. If you want to live in a granny flat is like boys' quarter in Nigeria, the prices are going to be a bit high. So the prices generally are high. Just let's say in a month, okay, me, I am a minimalist spender. Like, I don't spend money, okay? I tell myself that I'm stingy to myself. So in a person, I'm stingy to myself. In a month, I spend between $1,000 to $1,500 in a month, and this includes my house rent and my food stuff and gas. That's me, because I don't even spend that much. Okay. Now, if you're going to be eating food outside and going to restaurants and doing all the great things and partying and drinking and all that, just increase your monthly spending, okay? Even though Australia is like expensive, I'm living in Sydney, so even though Sydney is expensive, the minimum wage is like really high. So for like full-time staff or like part-time staff, they get $19 per hour as minimum wage. Then for like casual workers, which we as students are, because I mean we are not permanent staff, we're just casual workers, we earn $25 per hour. That's the minimum wage. Now you might say the casual workers are earning more. Yeah, they earn more, but we don't get advantages like holiday, break and annual leave and sick leave. The permanent staff, they get paid sick leave, they get paid annual leave. But as a casual worker, the day you decide not to work, you're not earning for that day. If you say, this week I want to be lazy, I am not going to work, you're not earning anything. Okay, it's $0 in your account. Okay, so yeah, even though we earn more than the permanent staff, than the permanent workers, but it doesn't really give you job security, and they can just wake up one day and tell you, oh, we don't need you guys anymore, bye, or you are sick. Okay, welcome to work, great, you're not getting paid. Okay, the minimum wage is high. It kind of matches the cost of living, if that makes sense. So because the cost of living is high, the minimum wage is like really good. Now when it comes to like education system in Australia, you might be wondering, oh, how does it feel like to go to school? How is education system how is education system? Oh, I can't talk. How is the education system in Australia? Okay, so I'm not going to say difficult, but it's not as easy as it sounds. Okay, it never even sounded easy. Because let me just say, for instance, in Nigeria, yeah, we do less in school, even though it's going to look difficult because some lecturers might want to frustrate your life and take your grades, and you put in all the hard work and don't get your grades and all that. But we kind of do less, but here they require you to do more. Guys, during school, at this point, yeah, I understand why they do the whole 20 hours a week thing for work when you're going school, because it is so demanding. The assignments are so bulky, and the one thing you have to know in Australia is You cannot plagiarize, okay? Normal. In Nigeria, they give you assignment to go online, you sit Google, you copy it and paste and change some words and pass. When you submit your assignment in Australia, you have to take it through this thing called Turnitin. Turnitin is going to scan it and scan out all the copy and paste you've done from wherever. If a student has submitted the assignment before, it's going to tell you that. If you copied it from somewhere on Google, it's going to tell you that. If you got it from a book, it's going to tell you that. So that's one step to failure. Once you plagiarize, it's almost like a criminal offense. Honestly, that's why it's almost like a criminal offense. So now you have to use all your brain, which is like okay, honestly, like it should be simple for us if that's how we started out. But like switching from a Nigerian university to an Australian university, it's gonna be a little bit difficult. At least your first, second semester to like adjust to the fact that hey, you have to use your head and do your job. You know, there is no copy and paste. You have to actually do the work. I mean, I had assignments where I had to make videos and films. You can't copy and paste film. You have to actually film. Okay. You have to actually film the video, get your tripod, get your camera. Actually, you have to actually write a story. You have to actually film a video, you know. So it's a lot more demanding and taxing. But that's just because from where I'm coming from. But aside from that, it's not that bad. It's easy to pass if it's already your normal way of life. Yeah, it's easy to pass, and at least you get what you put in. You get what you put in. Like you get the results that you've worked for. If you've really worked to get an A, you get it. Nobody's going to tell you A is reserved for the lecturer. A is reserved for Jesus. That Nigerian university. I mean, if you actually work really hard, you get your results. Okay. And then when it comes to tuition fees are paid per course. So let's say each course might be let's say 3,000. I mean, actually my course right now, each of my course is about $3,000. Okay, so you're paying for, let's say your tuition fee is calculated for by your course. Okay, so I can decide to do 2 courses this semester. I'll be paying for 2 courses. Yeah, I can decide to do 4 courses this semester. I'll be paying for 4 courses. So there's not like, in Nigeria they have like a general tuition fees. The first year you're paying 50,000 naira and all that, and that's it. But here the tuition fee is actually broken down into courses. So you can decide to pick 2 courses from your course, you know, and then you pay for the 2 courses, you do them. I mean, you will still complete all your courses, but you pay per course. So if you fail any course, rest assured you're paying for that course again. Okay, so normally in Nigeria when you have a carryover, you just write your carryover. Great. No, when you have a carryover here, you're paying to write that carryover, so you have to actually really study hard. That's why I said it's a bit different and hard, but it's not that if you actually put in the work. Okay, now let's talk about the weather in Australia. Let me tell you people something. The weather in Australia is really weird. Okay, if you're coming from every other part of the world, it's like, oh my god, December is winter, let's do it. No, it's switched. The weather in Australia is sweet. I used to tell people that this is like the end of the world because everything it's different. It's just different. Like I wrote it down here. So December to February, which is like regular winter for other countries and Harmattan for Nigeria, is the summer in Australia. So while the rest of you are like wearing hoodie and doing all that, we are going to the beach and wearing flip-flops and all that. Okay, or maybe I should call it thongs like Australians. They call flip-flop thongs. Yeah. So yeah, in Australia the weather is sweet. So December to February is summer. March to May is autumn. June to August is winter. So right now we are chilling. We are chilling while the world is doing hot girl summer. We are doing cold girl summer. Cold girl winter. We are chilling. I mean, it goes down to like one number degree. Like what I mean, I mean like 8 degrees and 2 degrees. Like in the morning when you wake up in the morning, just let's say around 4. It's most likely going to be like 7 or 5 degrees. Okay, right now it's okay, so see, right now this is like 1:56 p.m. 1:56 p.m. and this is like 16 degrees. Okay, this is 16 degrees in this is afternoon, and this is like the lowest AC goes. Okay, but this is better right now because in the morning it was way colder than this, and I'm able to wear this right now in my room because I left my heater to like 32 degrees. So my room was like really really hot, but it's off right now, so it's kind of normal temperature in my room. But yeah, it's cold right now, and then September to November is spring. So yeah, in Australia the weather is switched and it rains, okay, and it doesn't really snow in all parts of Australia. Like here in Sydney, it doesn't snow. It's sad though because I'm like, I am abroad. I'm supposed to snap picture in the snow, but I can't because why? It does not snow. There's a place it snows, but it's about 6 to 7 hours drive from my place. I mean, I'm not going to drive 7 hours to go and be in the snow. Maybe I will one of these days. I should. I mean, I have to start that abroad picture, right? Yeah, but it doesn't snow here in my area in Sydney, so it doesn't snow in most places in Australia anyway. So that's it. So I'm going to just recount everything I said before moving to Australia part 2. Number 1, job. Get your CV tailored with your Australian experience. Get your driver's license. Very very important. Get your driver's license. Know how to drive. Save up money for these certificates when you come if you can. Okay, save up money to buy a car. Save up money to get this certificate that I mentioned. Number 2, when it comes to like expenses, it is expensive. Food is surprisingly cheap. The cost of living is like really high, but the minimum wage is also high, which is like great. So just curtail on the things you spend on. Does that make sense? Buy less food in restaurants, make more food at home. Just try your best to be able to manage yourself so you don't spend so much money. But it is expensive, but you can always work it out. And I talked about the education system. You pay your school fees per course, okay? And if you fail a course, you pay and you write it again. And plagiarism is almost like a criminal offense, okay? In this country. Literally, I should really research that because the way they emphasize on it, it's almost like a criminal offense. Okay? And then when it comes to accommodation, and you can do what I did. You can use Airbnb before you come. If you don't have anybody, but if you have somebody, good, amazing, top notch, just stay with the person before you can get an accommodation. But if you don't, you can use Airbnb, and then when you want to look for a permanent accommodation, you can go through Flatshare, Gumtree, I think Facebook Marketplace as well. And then sometimes your school provides like a website for you to search for houses around your school. And I also talked about the weather, how we have switched weather. Okay. Yeah, so this is it. This is the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Okay. And I'll see you guys in my next video.